Thank you for joining us. How would you sum up the humanitarian situation in RAFAH as we speak?
It is so absolutely horrific. It's really an assault on our common humanity. It is so terrifying to see the people of RAFAH now being told once again to flee for their lives. When we think of an evacuation, we think of something structured of support to get people to move. There's no infrastructure whatsoever. People are just being told, pick up your tent, pack up your things, grab your kids and run. Yesterday I was able to hear from one of my Oxfam colleagues who lives in RAFAH, and to be honest, he just sounded so scared and so exhausted and was pleading for us to do everything we could do to alert the international community. This is a war that is targeting civilians. We're seeing a total disregard for international humanitarian law, a total disregard for human life. They're just being shuffled around in an area that is constantly being shelled and bombed. And on top of all of it, people are literally being starved to death. Our colleagues are facing extreme malnutrition. And when your body is so affected by malnutrition, by lack of clean water, it's very hard for your immune system to keep up. And so it means that young children within days can start dying of things like diarrhea that are so easily treatable. And yet we will see an explosion of cases of disease, outbreaks of cholera, and more children dying from totally preventable diseases.
You mentioned earlier people are wary of going anywhere because they might well be targeted there as well. If there was somewhere to go, is there a way for people to move?
People are going by foot. There's some donkeys that pull carts. There's very little transportation and virtually no fuel. Many families, there could be 10, 20, 30 family members that are sheltering together. They're just going to pick up and walk. And this means elderly people, newborns, little kids. Also, what's really scary is that Gaza is not a big place. I live in the city of Montreal, and Gaza is the size of the island of Montreal. So I'm just imagining if I was told, run with your kids to another neighborhood and you'll be safe there, knowing that no matter where you are, you're probably able to hear the bombing and shelling. You're never very far away from where the most violent attacks are taking place. And so there's no way to feel safe, and there's deep, deep trauma, in particular among the children of Gaza. We are doing everything in our power, Oxfam, in capitals around the world, to push governments to call for an immediate and permanent ceasefire. There is no way to mount a large-scale humanitarian response as long as the violence continues, as long as the border crossings are closed. And so that really is our main focus, is calling for an immediate and permanent ceasefire. And for the moment, our focus in Canada is really pushing the Canadian government to stop sending weapons to Israel. We need to stop fueling this war that is hurting so many civilians.